going to give to you guys, and then we're going to open the floor up for a Q&A. So how does that sound for everyone? I know you guys rushed out of here 15 minutes before to get to your next session anyway, so I'm going to make sure to honor that. So my name is Karsyn Jackson. I am the lead on the digital learning team in Grapevine, Colleyville ISD. Woo-woo! But definitely, this is not a me project. This is definitely a we project. There was tons across the district, but definitely this team supported me in this Canvas implementation project, and we wouldn't be here even presenting on this if it wasn't for their support. So very thankful for them. You can download all of my handouts and things after the session. I'm going to put them in the app then, but this slide deck has tons of useful links that I want you guys to have. So it will be there. Use it, take it, do what you need with it. And my contact information is also on the slides, and feel free to reach out for anything that you guys need or any questions you have. So our goals today are we're gonna talk about the history of Canvas kind of in our district. We're gonna go through our why of why we chose to have one designated learning management system. And then we're gonna go through where we are now. And like I said, we're then gonna talk about some questions and do a little reflection. I know we have some districts in here that are in the stages of implementing Canvas, and they're like, where do we go from here? So I want it to be the type of environment that we're learning from each other and asking really good questions. So welcome. So before we get started, we're going to talk about just the history of Canvas in our district and what that looked like, and then we'll go through what our successful implementation looked like. So first, 2019, pre-COVID, PC, we had teachers piloting Canvas, and they were using it as a blended learning tool for instruction in their classroom. We had about 8 to 10 teachers using it. So this is 2019. They used it if they wanted to use it. It was not forced. We had some training, and we were at the beginning stages of it. Fast forward to 2020, during COVID, of course, we had a lot of LMSs across the district. We had Google Classroom, Schoology, Moodle. I'm sure you can think of a million more that could have been out there, and we were utilizing all of those things just to get through that spring semester. As we went into 2021, we were kind of thinking, there's no way this is sustainable for our team. We cannot support full-fledged Google Classroom, Schoology, and Canvas. There was no way that was sustainable. So we made the decision that summer to go full-fledged with Canvas, and we didn't look back, even though sometimes we were like, wait, Google Classroom, we kind of want you back. We never looked back, and we went full-fledged to Canvas, and we are very thankful that we did. So now we have all teachers, grades 5th through 12th grade, utilizing Canvas on a daily basis in their classrooms. They're using it with students. And with the unknowns of this year, I don't know about you guys, we had a full-blown school closure for 2 days. Because of COVID, they're still utilizing it as a tool to push out that instruction to their students. So here's our why. We kind of touched on this, but our why for Canvas, 5th through 12th grade, is that if you look up at all of these icons, we had over 10 learning management systems, if not more. This is just like the ones we had on the top of our head. So like I said, during COVID, we had teachers pushing out things in Google Slides. We had teachers pushing out things through Google Classroom, Seesaw, Moodle, Schoology, all the things, even emailing their students directly. I mean, I see like the head nods. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it just wasn't equitable for our students. We weren't setting them up for success. It was causing barriers in their learning because they didn't know where to go to find things. So first period, they're logging onto Google Classroom, finding what they're submitting, maybe. Second period, it's Canvas. Third period, it's Seesaw, whatever it is. And there was just no way that was sustainable. We wanted to set our kids up for success in such a hard time. And we were like, Canvas is it. This is our big ticket item. So like I said, it really removed barriers for those kids, and it provided a lot more equity for all of our students. So here we are, and this is kind of where we get into our implementation plan. So that was our history. Now let's move into what our implementation plan looked like. So this is our journey with professional learning with Canvas. So as you can see, we started with Growing with Canvas in June of 2020. If you have Canvas, this is a great course. It provides you what you need. We made all of our teachers go through it in June of 2020. They had to do it before their contract date started. And when you get a link to these slides, if you click on that Growing with Canvas icon, it'll take you to that course. So if it's something you want to look at, take a look at that. You can bring it into your instance and kind of adapt it, make it your own. But we did this and it worked for us at that time because we didn't have the time to plan a full implementation plan. July 2020, our team sat down in partnership with our campus-based instructional coaches, and we adapted the course evaluation checklist You can make a copy of it there. We love this. It's Canvas created, and it is the baseline standards that every course needs to have in Canvas. So it's anywhere from what your modules should look like, how you're building your content pages, just the overall organization of a course to make it user-friendly for students. And it's all rooted in universal design. So everything we knew that it had a strong foundation of UDL, and we were always able to lean on that to make sure we were making the right decisions when designing our courses. So make a copy of that there. We adapted it a little bit to fit the needs of our district, but that's the Canvas one. So definitely check that out. So now Canvas Academy, which is really what we're here to talk about, which is our implementation. We developed Canvas Academy last year, so 2020, 2021. And this is a course, we're gonna get into the weeds of it, but this is a professional learning course that's task-based that all of our teachers using Canvas 5th through 12th have had to complete. We can say we successfully we're there now. So with the help of our team, librarians, instructional coaches, we got those tasks graded, and we can say that we are 100% level 1 certified in our course. So that was a huge accomplishment for us. And then moving into where we are now, this year our teachers had to complete a level 2 course that kind of just jumped them further into Canvas, really honed in on all of those skills. So they have done that. The expectation is that Canvas is used in daily instruction. And then also our CNI, our curriculum and instruction team has content created courses for core subjects and some low classes as well. So we've really moved the needle. We couldn't have done that probably without COVID, but we've learned a lot. And so let's get into our implementation. So this looks like a lot of words, and it is. I promise I won't read them all. But we used 4 different tools in planning our implementation. So if you take anything from this today, I want you to take these tools, because if you're implementing anything in a district, you gotta have a plan. And so all of these things, theory of change and CASAB for sure, are the biggest things that allow you to backwards map and really plan years out what your goals are and what you want, whatever your implementation to look like. So for us, we wanted all of our teachers using Canvas. We wanted them using it on a daily basis, and we really wanted them to enjoy it. We didn't want it to be compliance-based. So we had to really think through how are we gonna change their knowledge, their attitudes, their behaviors, their aspirations, their skills, all of those things addressed in CASAB. How are we gonna target that? And this model helped us do that. And so that was in partnership with someone that's going through Learning Forward. If any of you guys have done that program, it really helps with implementation, developing professional learning models and things like that. It's an amazing tool. So that is what we studied this to develop a successful implementation. So this is our Canvas Academy course. As you can see, we have a purpose and vision. The overall summary of that is that we wanted to provide equitable instruction without getting in the way of student learning. We wanted it to be sustainable over time. We wanted our students to be using this for years. We didn't want it to be a COVID thing and then go away. That was our main purpose. And we have a level 1 and level 2 course. So level 1 was foundational skills, and level 2 gets more into best practices and really moving on to all of those skills. So this is the organization of the course. This is just, as you can see, this was like our brainstorming. So it's not that pretty, but it really helped us flesh out what the course was gonna have. So basically what we did is we went down course navigation, and we were like, what do these teachers need to know? Like, where do we even begin? It's such a huge tool. So the first thing was like their homepage. What as a district do we want to set the standard as our homepage? And that was having a picture of yourself, having an about me, being able to get to your modules easily, making it consistent across the district. And so on some campuses, they had more things that they added to their homepage. That was their standard. But as a district, we knew we had baseline the same level of skills. And then we just continued to go down. What settings do they need to know? Their course card, their how to change their name of their course, cross-listing and combining courses, and even down to modules. So have your most recent module at the top, just basic things like that, that students could hop into any course and see baseline the same things. As we move on, so these are the tasks that each level had. So as you can see, we had 10 tasks submitted for level 1 and then 9 tasks submitted for level 2. And basically what that was a way for them to do task-based learning. So they're not just clicking through a course. they're actually applying the skills that they need, which really allowed us to move the needle because we knew that that's what they were doing. And so they went through that for level 1 and level 2. And as you can see, level 1 was just basic knowledge. It's foundational skills. Level 2 gets into more of those like intricate details, using more external tools, making it more engaging for students. As we created the course, we modeled best practices. So we used visual cues, we used emojis, we added teacher examples as much as we possibly could. So we combed through, this is not an exaggeration and I'm a sarcastic person, probably thousands of courses to comb through to see what our teachers were doing. That was like the number one thing, like what are amazing teachers already doing in our district and how do we spotlight that? So we combed through, we saw the amazing homepages, we saw what people were doing with emojis, and we put that in the course, and we really tried to highlight that. And along with that, it allowed for professional learning communities to grow, because if you're sitting shoulder to shoulder with someone, and they have an amazing Bitmoji classroom that you want to do, but you just don't know how, we know that all happened, like it created those types of conversations that allowed to facilitate that type of professional learning community. We also added like gifts and personalization. So really tried to make it our own. We always say we GCISD-ified things, which is what we did. We put our own district spin on it and tried to make it personal to the teachers. And this was the biggest thing, our refinement and feedback piece. So we are digital learning coaches, and in partnership with our instructional-based or our campus-based instructional coaches, graded all of these tasks. And it was a lot of work and it took a lot of time. But what that caused was it opened up the floor for strong coaching relationships through the use of Canvas and through the use of instruction. You were able to get in these courses and see what they were doing, what they were struggling with. So each assignment had a rubric attached to it, which was easy for us to grade, but then we also provided explicit, specific feedback. So these are 2 examples of feedback that we gave. And so one, it's like, this is amazing. It's very detailed. It's like that detailed feedback. It's not just like, great job, high five. It's very explicit. And the next one, it kind of gives like a refinement. Like, you did this correctly, you're doing great things, but have you thought about this? And for me, as a digital learning coach, it opens the door for that conversation and that coaching relationship to start building. So I'm sure there's a lot of coaches in here that struggle sometimes with teachers in your classroom, letting you in and really having that partnership. This really allowed for that. So where are we now? 100%, this, like, I relate to this gift so much because I'm like, woo, we did it. But number one, 100% of all of our Grapevine Colleyville teachers are level 1 and 2 certified. So that's new and existing teachers. So that took a lot of work and just alignment across the district. Number 2, all professional learning is built in Canvas for the most part when it's necessary. So we have majority of our professional learning courses in there, and the goal is that we model those for, like, we're modeling what we want those teachers to do in those courses. We have ready to go instructional templates that are accessible to import through Canvas Commons. So if that's like a blended learning station rotation or a homepage template, a syllabus template, things like that, they're ready to import, so it's easier for teachers. They're not starting from scratch, they're importing things in. Number 4, this year we have decided to pilot Canvas for 4th grade. So that was a huge decision for our district, but we're excited about that. And number 5, we're currently our team is working on a blended learning cohort group, and we're hoping to use that initiative all rooted in Canvas. So that's kind of where we're at. Q&A. Now is the time. We have Misty in the front row. She was like, I have questions for you, but I just kind of want to pause. Of course, you guys can ask any questions that you want to, but if you kind of start to filter out, I know that might be how it goes. I want to make sure you guys have my contact information, so follow us on Twitter at GCISD Digital Learning, and then I'm Karsyn_Jackson on Twitter. And then my email's up there, and I'm an open book. And I'm not just saying that, I truly think that all of our brains together can make something like this more successful. So definitely check it out, follow our team, and we're always posting great things. So, Misty, you're up. What's your questions?
How did you get the buy-in from your curriculum and instruction team? Because teachers are so fatigued right now. That's one more thing. Like, they were in triage trying to get, just like you said, like, you had more Canvas users, but we're similar. We have all the people are using what they're comfortable with and what they've been using for the last 2 years. And so our CNI department doesn't want to put one more thing on teachers, but we've done a survey. The parents and students want one to rule them all. And it just, did y'all do anything specific, or did you already have buy-in? Were they wanting it?
So that's kind of going back to your survey. So her question was basically like, how do you have buy-in from teachers? Like that's a huge undertaking. But the first thing is that we root everything. Our district is very big on teacher autonomy. So it was very hard for our district leadership to stand in front of everyone at a school board meeting and say, we are turning off Google Classroom. We are no longer using it. And this is the direction we're going. So we did that because we root things in teacher voice, obviously, but also student and parent voice. So if we have parents calling us saying, I have one assignment in Google Classroom, one in a slide deck, and one in Moodle, how is that sustainable? You know, we're not setting the kids up for success. And that really just explaining the why was that allowed us to get a lot of buy-in from teachers. And so I would recommend starting with that. So before you're like, hey, here's a professional learning course that's gonna take you probably 3 to 4 hours, this is why you're doing it. We rooted everything in our purpose and vision. We also had our district leadership, so our superintendent and our director of CNI, they made a video for us, and the school principals some of them made videos for their campuses to explain the purpose of it. So it was like a face to the course. It wasn't just the digital learning team pumping something out that, you know, they felt like they needed to do. So definitely explain the why, I think would be a big one.
I have a question about, you train your teachers on accessibility as far as I know Canvas does a lot, but what we run into is teachers not understanding a lot of that stuff, what they put into their Canvas course. Sometimes we have teachers put links to different, I like Edmodo so much, or Google Classroom, we put a little link in here.
I was just telling this story of our first, like in August, we had a teacher that I looked in his course, because he was like, I don't understand Canvas. I looked in his course and it was like, join my Google Classroom in a big code. I was like, wait a second, this isn't the point.
But mainly the accessibility piece,
Yeah.
you know, we have teachers that like to post some videos and things like that, and if they're not CC'd or, did they get training, or is that part of your Canvas? One training that they get?
So that's part of it. So if you look at those tasks, a lot of it, some of it did have accessibility, and that was something that we had to talk with our special services people about. Like, what are you seeing? And I was a former special ed teacher, so like, what are you seeing that is not accessible for your kids? So text to speech is built into Pages, so immersive reader is in Canvas already. That's just built in. That's the way it goes. And then there's an accessibility checker that we recommend teachers use. We also recommend teachers use alt text for images for students that are visually impaired. But that was all in partnership with our special services team. And they're now actually like rock stars in Canvas because they've done so much of it. But it really took like that partnership to be like, what do you need? What do we need to focus on? And those were some of the things easily built into Canvas. And then also we have Canvas Studio as a district, and everything has an automatic closed caption. So you can add closed captioning to your videos. And it's a great tool to make videos and screencasts and things like that. So I would recommend those things.